it wasn't like people were like, oh my gosh, you're so smart and you're so capable and you're so this and you're so that, and we're just gonna like make it happen for you. It was like, everyone was like, why are you here? And why do you think that you deserve this? And why not literally anyone else other than you? So I think the resistance, it fired me up and it gave me like energy to, probably to prove them wrong, but maybe most importantly, to prove to myself that I could do it. Whatever it was I set out to do.
Jessica Alba has been entertaining audiences for nearly 3 decades, and there's no question the 40-year-old actress, entrepreneur, best-selling author, loving wife, and devoted mother is enjoying an incredibly successful career. A career that began back in the early 90s when Jessica was just a young girl growing up in Claremont, California, roughly 30 miles east of Los Angeles.
I come from a family of performers, and so everyone always sort of like sang and danced, and there was a lot of musical theater. Like my dad and his siblings, my grandparents, they did musical theater, and we grew up around like all my extended family. And so, you know, people playing guitars and singing was just part of like a family barbecue. Like, it's just like what we always did. So being a performer, I think, wasn't so far-fetched, but certainly when it was like, oh, I can do this as a career. So I started acting at 12, but it wasn't until James Cameron chose me when I was 17 to star in a TV show that I was like, okay, I think because I did pray a lot, and I was like, okay, show me a sign, you know, that this is meant to be, or that I could actually do this for a living. And by the time I was 18, if I didn't get one of those like signs, I was gonna go to college and figure out something else. So James Cameron picking me at 17 was my sign, I guess, that I could really do it.
That James Cameron produced TV show was, of course, the sci-fi drama Dark Angel, which premiered in 2000.
I've got people looking to either put me in a cage for the rest of my life, turn me into a science project, or kill me. Probably all 3.
Jessica played the lead for 2 seasons and soon landed her first starring role in a feature film, the 2003 drama Honey.
When I first met you, you were 10 feet tall. And now I look at you, you're this big.
At 22, Jessica was off and running and determined to forge her way as a strong, powerful woman in Hollywood.
I think that was kind of like always part of my story in Hollywood. And I think that's why I was always attracted to, instead of the damsel in distress, I was always attracted to really strong characters. I mean, I think it's sort of like a life journey, right? That you want to be treated. For me, I was like, I always wanted to be treated the way that I saw men being treated, you know? Like, men were told, oh, you're really smart if you have ideas about the character or about the story in a project, where the women, it was like, oh wait, what? You want to talk about the character? Wait, you have an opinion about the story? Huh? It was like, you're a bother, or, you know, you came off as aggressive, where a man just looked like really assertive and powerful and like a boss. So I was always very passionate. I mean, there's a video of me at 7 years old, a home video, when I was going to Disneyland with my family, and I was like, I'm a feminist, and I don't need to rely on a man for nothing. And you know, that just was something I always had in me. And my father, he was pretty adamant about me not relying on a man ever. He's like, you know, have your own job, make your own money, do your own thing. And my mother absolutely was as well, but I think it's like more common for a mother maybe to feel that way, but to also have the father reinforce it. So I had parents who really pushed feminism, which ultimately is just equality.
That parental push was still paying dividends years later when Jessica decided to launch her groundbreaking new business. In 2012, she founded The Honest Company with a noble goal to create safe and effective personal care, beauty, baby, and household products with a focus on health, wellness, and sustainability. The hope was to inspire consumers to love living consciously, and within a year, Jessica's brainchild had brought in $10 million in sales.
I think like, for me, it was like I kind of didn't feel like I had anything to lose because no one believed I could do it in the first place. And if you're doing something that you haven't done or has never been done before, right, really, what do you really have to lose? I think for me, it was worse that I would wake up tomorrow and Honest didn't exist because I just knew it needed to. I actually had the biggest vision right away, and then I had to sort of like bring it down to earth, bring it down to earth, bring it down to earth, bring it down to earth. And then like, what are the baby steps to even get something, such a big idea started? Like, how do you start that? So I kind of studied that a bit. But yeah, I just knew in my heart that this company should exist. I just knew that like, if people knew that they could take their health and wellness into their own hands and they can make better choices, and if they didn't need to compromise on whether something was gonna work, or they didn't have to change their lifestyle and become like off the grid or vegan, or they could literally just keep living their life as they are, and they just now had like a better alternative, why wouldn't you? You know, of course. And so I just knew that in my heart. And I think the hardest part was like probably how hard it was to get off the ground.
This past May, just 9 years after launching, the Honest Company went public with an IPO that valued the brand at $1.4 billion, a move Jessica celebrated by ringing the opening bell at the NASDAQ market site.
It's interesting because, you know, I think a lot of the success stories are what people ladder up to being what makes you successful as a business person is usually like, I think the bias is that it has to be so cutthroat. You have to like basically eat babies on your way, you know, up the ladder. You gotta like do whatever it takes and be kind of like soulless and inhumane. And I think there's probably that path too, but like I wanna wake up every day excited to like live my life. And it doesn't energize me to like hurt people. I think you have to not be afraid to try things. And then when it doesn't go necessarily, or the outcome isn't exactly what you want, like what did you learn from it? How can you move on from there? And how can it like inform you for your next thing that you're gonna try to do? And just have like a constant momentum forward. I think that's something I have, like relentless drive, relentless perseverance, right? And optimism that I'm gonna figure it out. And I think that, you know, it's like I really believe that if your heart's in the right place and you are intelligent and asking the right questions, you're gonna figure it out.
When Jessica's not busy on set or being the chief creative officer of a billion-dollar company, she's also the happily married mother of 3 beautiful children, 13-year-old Honor, 10-year-old Haven, and 3-year-old Hayes.
Well, I would say I'm 100% mom all the time, right? I can't disconnect from that. But I do believe that the quality of the time that you're spending doing one thing or another, you just have to like focus on what matters, right? And sometimes you don't need to be 100 all the time, all in 24/7 with anything, right? You also need you time. And I think for so long, women have been told that you have to choose and something is gonna be compromised. And I think even in corporate America, it's the same way, right? But I do think that it's like where you choose to be present is where you're gonna give your all. So when I'm at the office, I'm choosing to be present there. When I'm on my Zoom calls, I'm choosing to be present there. But you know, during COVID, my kid's gonna come in and they're gonna be annoying and they're gonna interrupt a meeting, and it's just human, right? I'm not less capable of making decisions or doing things. I just have to like pause. What is it? Stop fighting with your sister, or whatever it is. Create some boundaries with them. I'm in my closet/office, leave me alone for 45 minutes. And I can be 100 in that meeting, you know, for the 45 minutes. And then you're back to, I'm hungry, they're fighting about something, whatever it is. And that's just life, right? We're not robots.
Jessica and her husband, producer Cash Warren, were wed in 2008. And after 13 years of marriage, the happy couple may not have a secret, but they definitely have a few things figured out.
I don't think we have a secret at all. I think at different times in our relationship, there were different things that we needed to connect, right? I went through, like, I need Wednesdays. I want Wednesday night, date night, you and I need your undivided attention for Wednesdays. And that was like my thing, like, I think around the time that I had the kids. It was like, I need once a week. And then other time, and he's like, I need you to be present on the weekends and not work, right? And so you go through that, or when we are doing something as a family, you know, sometimes he's like, you're on your phone too much, and sometimes I'm like, you're on your phone too much, so we have to check each other. But I don't know, we've over-communicating, maybe that's it. We over-communicate what's happening before it gets to like the point of no return. Just like, hey, this is how I'm really feeling, and like, what do you think you can do to help me here, to help me feel differently about this? And then, of course, he's gonna tell you everything that's annoying him, everything that you do that's annoying for him, and you just have to at least like talk through it. I mean, I feel very fortunate that I get to live a pretty full life. And I think, you know, my vision for my life has always been very ambitious. I always felt like I should be able to have a family. I should be able to be creative. I should be able to love my career. I should, you know, be able to feel like I have purpose and I'm trying to do something good with this life. And I don't know, I think if you really have conviction around the things that you want for yourself and you stay focused on that, I think you can manifest them.